Alright, a quick impromptu video. I'm here doing Cedro Peak Trail and came across this mud puddle and motor died. It's dead in the water, literally. So I want to see if I can power out of it without needing to winch. So let's see if it starts. Tailpipe is bubbling underwater. Hey guys, how are things doing? Hope everything is well. It has been quite a while since I've uploaded a video. YouTube actually notified me that if I don't upload a video in the next 30 days that they were going to demonetize my channel. So apparently you have to upload in a certain frequency in order to be a YouTube partner. I guess who knew? I guess I've never gone that long without making a video. So anyway, life has been pretty crazy. In April of this year, my son started preschool. He turned 3 years old, and my first daughter was born. And a few months before that, my family and we all moved into a new house. So things have been pretty hectic on my side, especially with the new baby, but everyone is happy and healthy and recovering, and things are really great. So what's this video about? I guess it's just kind of an update. What you're seeing as far as footage was just kind of thrown together impromptu on a little ride I took with my father-in-law, so we weren't really planning to make a video, but you know, things got kind of interesting and there was a lot of rain and mud, so I just thought it would be cool to whip up the phone and take some videos, and I figured I could just do a voiceover after the fact and put it up on YouTube. So that's really what you're seeing here. So my father-in-law wanted to go on a trooper ride for a long time now. I'm always telling him about it and telling him I like going on trails and things. So we packed up my son and the dog and we all hit up the trooper and we did the Cedro Peak Trail, which is what I have on my channel quite a lot. So the scenery is really nothing special. I've been out here quite a bit. It's just kind of the closest and most convenient place to go off-roading for me. So yeah, we got out there around 4:30 in the afternoon, and I just went to take the standard loop that I kind of always do. And after about half an hour into the trail, it just starts to downpour with rain, and it even kind of turned to hail after a while. So it's got really muddy, and I was kind of expecting mud because we've been getting a lot of rain, but this is actually the first time I've been on Cedro Peak in an actual downpour of rain, which was pretty crazy. And so about a little past the quarter point through the loop, I noticed that the trooper was idling really rough, and I kind of quickly knew what it was. My air intake tube between the throttle body and the mass airflow sensor can kind of jiggle apart because that big enclosed cone filter I have isn't harnessed down to anything. I actually have a bungee strap wrapped around my power steering fluid reservoir to kind of hold it in place a little bit. It needs to be fixed. I need to build a proper bracket to actually hold that together, because when I'm on a really bumpy trail, it just jiggles apart in this one spot. And when it was idling rough, what's happening is unmetered air is slipping into the throttle body past the mass airflow sensor. So it's just throwing off the tune. And I open the hood in the middle of the rain. I get the tube hooked back up, and it's no big deal. The idle gets fixed and we just keep going. So the trail was pretty slick. It was that standard Cedro Peak slippery mud, feels kind of like clay, not a lot of gravel. A lot of the muddy spots are just mud. So we kind of get to the top of the main trail, and I take that little right turn that, I forget the name of the road, but it's kind of what connects you to that force road 462. And from that road I take the right turn when there's kind of like a Y. It's not really a Y, that's like a Y with a Y. There's 4 different ways you could take, but I take the rightmost turn. And that's kind of, from what I've seen, the most challenging way to go. There's just a lot of really deep mud puddles and then some tough little rock portions where you have to navigate downhill into that little valley where 462 is. And so we're hitting these big mud puddles, and I'm just kind of throttling through them and making sure it's hard to tell how deep they are or how long the puddle goes. I hit this mud puddle, the one from the beginning of this video, and a third of the way through the puddle, like the motor is struggling and it dies in the water. It is dead in the water. And I was so nervous. I thought I sucked water into my engine because that enclosed cone filter isn't a perfect seal. Like if it was submerged, it would pull water through. There's plenty of gaps in that filter. And I panicked. I thought like I got maybe not sucked water in the engine, but I thought maybe something electronic got wet and it killed it, and it's like stuck in the water now.
All right, a quick impromptu video. I'm here doing Cedro Peak Trail and came across this mud puddle and motor died, and turned out being my mass airflow sensor came undone. So I couldn't start it. Dead in the water, literally. So I want to see if I can power out of it without needing to winch. So let's see if it starts. Tailpipe was bubbling underwater. Okay, let's see.
Get it out. Get it out. Get it out.
Blurp, blurp, blurp. Okay, it started. Yay, your dad did it. That was the worst place to have to pop my airline back on. Yep, made it.
It wouldn't start. It was just bubbling out the tailpipe when it was trying to start. So my only thought was like, I gotta winch out of here to get out of the water, because it wasn't getting into the cab or anything, but it was right at the bottom of the door. Definitely the deepest water it had ever just sat in. And I kind of am cautious of using my winch because my battery, it holds a charge just fine. It's an Optima red top, but it doesn't do well with accessories when the key is off. Like it just doesn't, like my headlights in 30 minutes kill that battery, so it's probably needs to be replaced. But I was reluctant to winch. I only had to probably winch about 10 feet, which I'm pretty sure it would be able to handle with the key off, but I didn't want to like kill my battery out there when I have my 3-year-old with me. But I popped the hood, I have my winch remote in hand, and I'm looking to plug in the winch controller, and I plug it in, and I glance over with my eyes because I'm like in panic mode, and I see that the mass airflow sensor is kind of showing because the air intake got unhooked again, and I'm like, thank God that's all it is. I hook it up real quick, I close the hood, turn the key, and it pulls right out. So that was just exactly what needed to happen. Didn't need to winch, it pulled right through it. So that was a little crazy, scary moment. Anyway, from there, you know, the trooper just powered through the rest of the trail. There's a couple other deep mud puddles that I went through. One was actually kind of went up over the hood, which was neat. But yeah, it just did like a champ. Kind of the end part of the trail, you know, you go down the rocky portion, which was kind of fun to navigate with the slick mud, but you know, the trooper did it just fine because it has such great weight distribution. And after that, the end of the road was just 462 down the rest of the way, and it was kind of starting to get dark, and there was actually a lot of hail on the ground, and I could tell that they actually got a lot more rain in that part of the trail prior to us getting there, just by seeing how the hail was carved through with water. But the bad part, I guess, is they got a lot more rain, which meant, and it was about an hour or so before, so all of that rainwater just soaked into the ground, and it was a lot more muddy. And there were some pretty tight spots where I could have gotten stuck in the mud, but you know, I wasn't that worried. I had the winch and plenty of nice winch points to reach. But you know, being muddy with a little 3-year-old in the car is never quite the situation you want to use a winch in, but it was fine. And you know, one fun part is actually the clip on my channel of my little channel intro video where you could see that I'm pulling out a Jeep Cherokee in a mud puddle. I had to go around that same puddle, and I had to just throttle through this mud and not get caught in the ruts, and it made it through. It was rather, that was a butt clencher right there, but
Good with a little momentum. Good. Sideways too much. clutch here. Got it. That was mostly good, like 80% good.
Really, the rest of the trail was just following the ruts, and you don't even need to hold the steering wheel because the wheels just ride the ruts. And it did kind of drag the diff a little bit, but not a lot. And definitely probably want to get mud terrains for my next tires. Just I've never owned mud terrains. I've just had BF Goodrich all-terrains and, you know, just cheaper all-terrain tires is all I've ever had. And they've done well for me, but it would be fun to actually have mud terrains, and I'd love to do what I did with mud terrain tires just to feel what the difference is, because I'm sure getting through these ruts and trying to like turn over a muddy rut is much easier with the mud terrains. So maybe in the future. Anyway, so I guess kind of to wrap up this video, it's been a while. I've wanted to make a Trooper video for a bit because it's been a long time. I did roll over 250,000 miles. Yeah, 250,000. I wanted to make a 250,000 mile review video, and I actually went out to record a video. I got clips, I got everything. I was out with my son, and actually that was the first time I experienced the motor dying from the mass airflow sensor thing, except I was on a different road, no cell service, and it was getting late and dark with my kid, and it was, I think, in January. So I was nervous, and like my kid was like playing in a little stream, a little creek. No, it wasn't January, it was maybe early March, but like he was getting wet in the water, and like I didn't have dry clothes for him, and the engine was dead. And eventually I fixed the math. I saw that the air intake wasn't hooked in, and that's all it was. But got that fixed. I had another issue where actually one of my passenger side rear shock became unbolted up at the top, and it actually jiggled out of the shock mount that day because I was kind of hauling butt down a fast gravelly, bumpy road, where the shock actually bounced out of the mount, and then the top of the shock was like punching into the fuel line, up into where the fuel lines run, and there's a wiring harness right there, and the shock actually broke through some of the insulation of the wiring, and it was causing the fuel pump fuse to blow because it was shorting out right there, and that was really tricky. Out like my fuel pump fuse kept blowing, and I thought maybe my filter's clogged, and the pump is pushing against the filter and overheating and blowing the fuse. Like that wasn't it. It wasn't the filter. Like I was actually halfway through dropping the fuel tank to put a new fuel pump in it when I look up, and I'm like, wait, why is my shock not hooked up? And I'm like, oh shoot, like look at all of this wiring that's exposed. And so that was an easy fix. At least I pulled back the insulation and I re-insulated all the wires that got messed up, and I got the shock bolted back in. That was dumb. But those are those Rancho shocks that I put on when I redid my suspension and stuff, and that was hectic. But anyway, that's really only Trooper updates. I'm running 31-inch tires right now. I bought a set of these 5 Toyota wheels from a FJ Cruiser. I got 5 tires, 5 wheels with BF Goodrich all-terrains, and they're really good shape for $300. And that was kind of a no-brainer. $300 for a whole set of tires when just one like 33-inch all-terrain costs around that much. So that was a no-brainer. Running 31s now. They're 265 on a 17-inch rims, not 16, but they're pretty good. It's nice having the fuel economy back. It's nice having the gear ratio down a little bit versus 33s, and just overall better for city driving, I guess. But my next set of tires will probably be 33s again. They're just so much better off-road with the wider tire. But anyway, I'm rambling, and I've really just wanted to make a Trooper video for a long time now, and this is it. It's kind of sloppy, kind of just thrown together. But hopefully it was fun to watch, and hopefully you guys tune in for more and give me ideas for other videos. I have dozens of ideas in my head. It's just getting around to doing them. And now that my daughter is born, and she's 7 weeks old now, hopefully when she gets a little bit bigger, I'll be able to take her out with me and just put out videos as I can do them. But for now, that's really it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for remaining interested in my videos, even though I've been kind of inactive for a while, but love to share the Trooper stuff. I'm actually back on Instagram again with my Trooper page on there, so I'll link that in my description if you guys want to follow that. And anyway, thanks for watching, and Zuzu power. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye bye.